All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakah, Kodash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching this word in truth and sincerity and for reading well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying. Shalom to the elect. More women are part of the elect, because that's who we're here to feed. Okay. Yeah, my brother Gabar Yahweh from James, Hawaii, coming to you with another quick blessing, and it's a slight response to the video that Elder Apostle Gabar did on his video entitled, I mean, really, what kind of bullshit is this? And he was responding to the brothers out there in North Carolina with Elder Ashiar, and their video was replying to be not linked together with unbelievers. And it's this whole thing where IUIC and members of the Nation of Islam try to come together, and they want to come together supposedly on common ground, things that they agree on, right? So let's look up two definitions: common ground and compromise. Okay, common ground definition, right? And then we're gonna look up compromise definition. Okay, so the definition for common ground is opinions or interests shared by each or two or more parties, right? So apparently they got a common ground, which when I say they, I'm talking about IUIC and the Nation of Islam, which they want to bring all black people together, try to bring black people together under an ideology. All right. So that's the first common ground. That's their common ground that they have, right? Their outreach, community outreach representatives. And that's not what the Lord set us up here to do. The Lord didn't set us up, the prophets. He didn't set the prophets up to be the apostles and the prophets. He didn't set us up to be community activists. He didn't set us up to be gathering all our nation. This word is for the elect of our nation. All right. And that's who the Lord is dealing with right now. He's not dealing with the whole nation of so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. And in this instance, so-called black, because there's no black nation, right? Just like there is no nation of Islam, which I'm going to get into that too. So again, the word common ground is opinions or interests shared by each or two or more parties. So we just gave an example. Now, the word for compromise is an agreement or a settlement of a dispute that is reached by each side making concessions, right? So an agreement, right? An understanding, a settlement, right? So they made concessions. It says to settle dispute by mutual concession, right? Now, what would be the big concession or dispute between Nation of Islam and the IUIC? Well, one believes in Islam, and a man named Farad Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan, and then another group believes in Jesus Christ and Nate and Bishop Nathaniel, right? And his ideology, right? But there's only one truth. There's not a multitude of truths, right? There's not a multitude of avenues to the Lord, right? And that's what we're pushing, right? Because calling yourself a member of the Nation of Islam is confusion, right? And then you're an Israelite, but you calling on Jesus Christ, that's more confusion. Okay. These two groups have stark ideologies, stark contrast ideologies. How could they get together? How can they compromise? And like the brother was in the video was speaking, there's no common ground, right? There's no common ground because that whole Islam thing is an ideology that was set up to confuse our people, right? When you look at the history of Islam, it was actually born or birthed out of the Moorish Science Temple, which was more confusion and witchcraft. Okay, so it has nothing. How could you have the same common ground? But they're talking about on a social level, social communal level, right? Because they're not going to come together and be one fist together. That's not going to happen in the society. And his organization is like probably like, if not the biggest Israelite organization in America right now, right? And then you got the Nation of Islam, which is one of the biggest black so-called black organizations in the country. And now these guys want to come together, which they're coming together in wickedness, man, because the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shah, is not with this. He didn't sit us down here to be compromising with these heathens, right? And we're talking about the heathens of our people. If you worship in Islam, you're a heathen in the eyes of the Lord. You're not an Israelite of the Most High, right? If you're a Christian, you're a heathen. You calling on Jesus Christ, you're a heathen in the eyes of the Lord. Okay, so that's not it. Real quick, this is the book of Corinthians. I think this. I want to say, um, let me get it. Um, this is 1 Corinthians 4:9. It says, "For I think that the Most High has set forth us, the apostles, last, as it were appointed to death. For we were made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men." So the Lord set up the apostles last, right? And that's who we are. Starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, we're set up last, right? As it were appointed to death. Okay. And why is that? You had multiple groups, different groups popping up in the early 1930s and 20s, and even before. You even have Israelites who practice Judaism, all right, and different forms of Christianity. And all of these groups, what they do, they end up failing because they were all governmental agents anyway. Just like IUIC is a governmental organization with the guise of being teachers of Israel, teachers of being Israelites. Just like Nation of Islam. That's why you think Nate, I'm not Nate, Minister Farrakhan can move around with with basically impunity with his ideology if it was so detrimental. While Jake was following Islam, Esau had no problem with that. While you were following Christianity, Esau had no problem with that, right? When you call yourself an Israelite, here come the problems, here come the issues. So again, we're not to link up with these people because we don't have any common ground, right? Amos 3:3, can two walk together except they be agreed? And you agree with somebody when you compromise with somebody. That's this right here. There's a synonym for compromises to an agreement or an understanding. And we can't come with an understanding because one group is talking about Allah, Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan. Another group is talking about Jesus Christ. We, hey, we are at Great Millstone. We don't have a common ground with uh with IUIC, even though we're all teaching that we're Israelites, that the Bible speaks of, and to turn back to the Lord. They're doing it in an underhanded way. They're not doing it in truth and in sincerity. And when you come to worship the Lord, that's what you have to do. This is St. John 4:22. Ye worship, ye know not what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Salvation is not for the Nation of Islam, which that's a fictitious nation. It's an organization. There's no Nation of Islam, like Apostle Gabar said in his video. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. And that's what we here at, starting with the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone, that's what we're doing. We're worshiping worshiping the Father and the Son and the spirit of what? And the spirit of truth. Okay. And if you're mixing and mingling with Islam, ain't no spirit and truth in that. If you're even open to a dialogue, we here at Great Millstone, we're not even dialoguing with IUIC. They get corrected for the doctrine that they go off on, but we're not dialoguing with them. Why? Because they have a different doctrine than ours. And we here through faith believe that we have the 100% truth. Right? So let's keep on reading St. John 4:23. For the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers, right? We're the true worshipers, shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. And you can only worship the Father in spirit and truth through his Son, Yahweh Shah. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. And you NOI people, you're not worshiping the Father and the Son in spirit and in truth. Your leader, Farrakhan, he always reference the Bible and quotes out the Bible, right? But he's not worshiping the Lord in spirit and in truth. Nation of Islam is a deception. It was a huge deception that was used from the 1930s onward to mislead our people, right? It teaches you to break the law of the Lord by worshiping another God, right? A false ideology, a false doctrine. Then you got IUIC. They teach you you're Israelite, but they do it with a guise of lies. One being the name, praising the name Jesus or Christ. That's what their organization is called, Israelites United in Christ. They're not united in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. In fact, their leader speaks ill of the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Right? He lies to his congregation and tells them that they don't have the name. Right? He lies to their congregation and tell you that you never worshiped Yahweh. You always was dealing with Yahweh Shai. These guys are full of lies, man. Okay? We as the Israelites, we aren't to come together with any other group, nation. We aren't to put the truth with any other ideology. Are you crazy? This is what happened in the ancient world when heathens try to do this. This is the book of Ezra, chapter 4, verse 1, right? Because these people are adversaries of the word, right? Nation of Islam, IUIC. They're adversaries of the word. We're building a temple of the Lord because we are the temple, and these people are coming to destroy it. Or you inviting somebody else that don't even believe in what we believe in to so-called help build. You going off, man. Right? This is the book of Ezra 4, verse 1. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, the God of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do. Right? And that's what these guys are saying, NOI and IUIC. They're trying to come together to build what? You hold no political power in this country. Your efforts are going to fail, no matter what y'all do. Like the scripture says, though hand in hand join together, the wicked shall not go unpunished. All right? So what are you going to do? What you going to see? You going to join it? Are you going to make those Nation of Islam people realize that they're Israelites following a crackpot doctrine of Islam? Is that going to happen, or are IUIC members going to shave off their beards and put on two-piece suits and bow ties and start selling bean pies and final calls? Because somebody has to give in completely. And I'm gonna tell you this right now: them niggas at Nation of Islam, them niggas, that's a demon on them. Just like them niggas at the IUIC, they got demons on them. So there really can't be no true compromise. You saw, I think they had a video of this guy, Nate, his group, some of his head men, holding a press conference with the Nation of Islam, talking about what they're gonna do for the black community. The Lord don't give a fuck about the black community. Let's go back. Ezra 4 and 2. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Ashuradan, king of Assur, which brought us hither, right? Because he, under Shalmaneser the king, I believe it was Shalmaneser V, and the kings of Assyria, they brought heathens into the land, okay, to the northern portion of the land, okay, and they had to learn how to worship our God, because if they didn't, lions would tear them up. So a Levite came up and taught them how to do this. So when they see Judah and Benjamin coming back from captivity to rebuild the temple, they thought that they had a part in this. And listen to what Zerubbabel said. It says, but Zerubbabel and Joshua, and the rest of the chief fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, unto our power. But we ourselves together will build unto Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, the power of Israel, as King Cyrus and the king of Persia have commanded us. Right? So if you're not building towards Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, if you're not a true believing Israelite, right? These guys are, on one hand side, they're Israelites that believe in Islam, calling themselves members of the Nation of Islam, right? Which Elijah Poole, aka Elijah Muhammad, he wanted to build. He got land, he got money, grants from an Edomite, a wealthy Edomite named H.L. Hunt, right? This Edomite right here, he this man, his children are the owners of the Kansas City Chiefs. They Elijah Poole, aka Elijah Muhammad, he was financially backed by H.L. Hunt and I'm sure other government organizations. H.L. Hunt was an oil tycoon, right? And when you scroll down here, it says this: his ties to white supremacy, right? It says multiple sources, including American civil rights icon Malcolm X, implicate Hunt as a lifelong racist who provided major financial assistance to several far-right organizations, such as the Minutemen, the John Birch Society. Hunt considered African Americans a political threat and made this clear in his radio interviews and broadcasts. One of Hunt's chief allies, Alan Zoll, said that since 1936, Hunt advocated deporting all African Americans to Africa for this reason. Hunt supplied Nation of Islam leader Elijah Muhammad continuous financial support due to the latter's belief in racial separation from whites. So, and then Elijah Muhammad, he bought a whole bunch of land in Georgia, I believe, somewhere in Georgia, as well as in Illinois, Chicago area, right? But they still ain't created the so-called Nation of Islam within the society, which Nation of Islam is supposed to be a separate nation within America. That ain't gonna fly. Okay. So here it is. This man, H.L. Hunt, supplied this man right here with financial gain to forward his wayward organization, right? And because he was talking about being separate from the white man, H.L. Hunt agreed with him, which I'm sure the government put him up to that to give this man money. Salakia. Again, which I'm sure this man, he was using that money to fund his organization and whatever they wanted to do. So while he was calling the white man the devil is this, the devil is the white man, this nigga was taking money. This dude was taking money from this guy, an Edomite who hated him. You see? So I guess they had a common ground. Their common ground was that separation, total separation of the so-called African Americans from the so-called whites, right? That's what that was about. A lot of y'all don't know that. These people right here that follow the Nation of Islam, they never even mention H.L. Hunt. They'll say, "Oh, that's a lie. That's a lie." But where'd y'all get that money from? Where'd y'all get the millions of dollars to establish this organization? Where'd you get it from? It didn't come out of the black people's pockets. It came out of the pocket of H.L. Hunt, a billionaire, okay, whose sons today, again, own the Kansas City Chiefs and got you niggas running up and down on a football field for entertainment purposes while they hate you, right? So they came with a common ground. So then the Nation of Islam came out of what? Came out of the Moorish Science Temple. It says, it is traditionally held that Drew Ali, this is the guy, Noble Drew Ali, founded the first official state-registered Islamic organization in U.S. history and was the first American-born Islamic religious leader. Although the Moorish Science Temple of America has largely declined, Drew Ali's legacy is significant because of its influence on the founding and ideology of the Nation of Islam. From a Sunni Islamic perspective, Drew Ali's Islamic teachings inroads are generally held as no more than romanticized history, and that's what these people come with. The Nation of Islam is romanticized history. It ain't true. It's false. There's nobody named Yakub, the big head scientist that created the so-called white man from the strand of a pig. None. That's some bullshit. And then Farrakhan, he throws in Christianity, Islam, Scientology within to his group and other ideologies and doctrines. So how the fuck can you come together with this guy, bro? You see? A lot of Jake, you don't read, you don't know the history about any of these things that you join. Right? This 2 Corinthians 2, 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness? All right. You know you're Hebrew Israelite. You know the true name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You would think that you would be in the light. How in the hell could you link up with somebody talking about Islam and the Nation of Islam and Farrakhan and their doctrine? That's light and darkness. They don't mix. They don't mix and mingle. But in reality, both of these organizations, IUIC and the Nation of Islam, are really in the dark. These guys are in the dark with the shades slightly open, and these guys are in the complete darkness. All right.
Israelites, man.
You're gonna reach common ground. No, I'm gonna tear that shit down. Well, common ground goes back to the damn compromise.
Right. Go along to get along. The word of the Lord cannot be compromised.
Absolutely. The word of the Lord cannot be the word of the Lord cannot be compromised. All right. You can't compromise this truth. All right. This is it. All right. The buck stops here. This is Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord. What is the book of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai? The Bible. Not the Quran, not the book of Kiba D. Nigaz, not the Circle 7 Quran. No, no. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail. So if you seek out of the book of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and you read with understanding, it ain't gonna fail you. None shall want her mate, meaning you're not gonna want her another book. You're not gonna want another doctrine. For my mouth it have commanded, and his spirit it have gathered them. Right? See? So the spirit of truth, the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai gathered the prophets that composed this book. Right? The spirit of the Lord didn't gather no writers for the Quran or for the Circle 7 Quran. Not at all. Not at all. Okay? So there is no compromise. All right? So with that, we'll say shalom and on to the next.